It is often said that success follows success, and that's exactly what we want to make sure that you experience tonight. Because the gentleman that I want to turn this call over to, he has a tremendous amount of success. This gentleman is the visionary behind the Be Your Own Bank movement. He is also the spokesperson for one of the tools that you will also see here. Now, he is a successful business owner here in the Jacksonville area, but his background is in investment banking. And we're talking about over 20 plus years in this field. He is having a lot of fun and helping a lot of people. He is a published author, but he has also helped over 30,000 people obtain their financial freedom. So ladies and gentlemen, I want to turn this call over to none other than Mr. Gerald D. Rogers. Mr. Rogers, are you on the line?
Yes, can you hear me clearly?
Yes, I can, and this call is officially yours.
Thank you so much, Ms. Dyer, for taking time out of your schedule to greet our guest. And ladies and gentlemen, before I get started, I want to help you really appreciate the individual that greeted you. Ms. Tasha M. Dyer, a retired major from the United States Army, MBA recipient, financial advisor, creator of the Byob cash strategy, which you'll get an opportunity to hear about here shortly. And we affectionately call her the trade whisperer because she's literally leading the charge of global economic impact around the entire globe. So anytime you got an opportunity to hear her share this information, teach you from preschool to postgraduate, you want to make sure that you avail yourself to hear from her because she's doing an amazing job and helping a lot of people put themselves and their family on the other side of money. So with that being said, folks, I'm ready to dive in here this evening, and I just happen to be the individual that's speaking on behalf of the individual that invited you out. And here's what I need you to do. Immediately following this call, I want you to reach out to the individual who shared this information with you, who invited you into this setting, and tell them thank you because they are looking out for your best interest and sharing with you some information that has put them in a position to really change their own personal financial narrative. And our vision is simple, it's clear. Our movement is designed to impact and educate 1 million families by March the 28th, 2021. So the only conversation you're gonna really have to have with yourself tonight is one, do you wanna be one of those 1 million families? And number two, how many do you personally wanna be responsible for? As you hear this information, you're gonna be even more excited about it because now we're gonna put in your arms arsenal that's going to allow you to put yourself and your family on the other side of money because you're going to be able to think differently after receiving this information this evening. So with that being said, my name is Gerald D. Rogers. I hail from the wonderful city of Jacksonville, Florida. And quite honestly, folks, I'm no different than any of you that's listening. As a matter of fact, we have a lot of same type of similarities. And as I tell you my story, I'm not trying to impress anyone, but to impress upon you the importance of ensuring and making sure that one, you get connected to the right information, and then you get connected to the right vehicle, and then the right mentorship. And that's pretty much how I've been able to evolve and come to a place where I am. I'm the sum total of the mentors that I've allowed to guide and direct me, and I'm simply here to pay it forward just like I received the information. So, and my parents told me in order to be successful, they said, Gerald, you have to get education. But I'm going to submit to you this evening, not only is education important, but I want to add something to you and something you may have never probably even thought about. Education, or is it what you're being educated upon? And that's what I want to speak to you tonight. My initial path to success as a child, I thought I was going to become a professional athlete, had childhood dreams of becoming an NFL football player. I took those, I excelled extremely well in athletics and in high school, football in particular. I took those credentials onto the campus of Florida A&M University where I excelled at the collegiate level, and upon my collegiate experience, I had some NFL tryouts, Carolina Panthers, Cincinnati Bengals, Toronto Argonauts, and at that time, the CFL was trying to make inroads into the continental United States. And obviously, in this context, regarding me becoming a professional athlete, you've never heard the name Gerald D. Rogers before in that aspect. And honestly, folks, when that dream was diminished, I went through a state of depression for a short time period because I thought I was never going to be able to provide the lifestyle that my family deserved based on the limited information that I had at that particular time. Yes, I've had success in the real estate arena, mortgage banking, lending, commercial lending. Well, one of the things that really opened my eye up when it comes to becoming wealthy was being exposed to the direct sales industry. And I'll talk to you a little about that. But well, I've always understood and realized that what successful people have always done well, they've always found themselves where their money's always working for them, and they understand leverage. And by the time we finish this conversation, you're going to really appreciate that paradox as well. So let me just dive in here real quickly. Many of you should have had the opportunity to see a 2-minute video speaking about the information that I'm going to share with you. And with that understanding, this information is literally designed to help you understand why we asked the question that you've been posed and how you ended up in this conversation. With my experience in investment banking, I want to ask you a question. And this question is so serious, and I want you to have an open mind and understand this. What I'm about to share with you has literally been hidden in plain sight. So the question that I pose to you as you're digesting this information this evening is, are you personally ready to accept the challenge to learn how to be your own bank? I want you to let that sink in. I want you to let that simmer for a second, right? Let that sink in. So then my next question would be to you. Ask yourself this. Over the last 5 to 10 years, out of all the money that has flowed through your personal bank account, how much has your bank paid you for using your own money? Now, if you're anything like myself, you have to answer that question in one of two ways, nothing or little to nothing. And then I would add to that conversation, how does that make you feel? Whether you understand this information or not, whether you believe it to be true or not, your bank is going to use your money the way they choose to. They're going to let it out collectively. They're going to make millions, billions, and even trillions of dollars and never give you a fair share of it. How does that make you feel? And then lastly, I'm not going to leave you at that point. That's just why this education, this information I'm about to share with you is so important. If there was a way that you can learn a skill set that would teach you how to do exactly what the banks do, put you in a position where you're always in a position where your money is being multiplied, no matter what the economy is doing, would you take advantage of it? So I'm going to assume, and I'm going to answer that question for you in the affirmative. You have to say yes to that, because if you say no to that, that simply means that you're not rejecting this information from the person that shared it with you. That means you are completely comfortable with knowing that your bank is going to use your money the way they choose to, and you're okay with your money growing for someone else and not yourself. And I know that's not the case. That's why I know you're going to be excited about receiving this information. So what are we talking about? IAM.Academy is an educational platform designed to teach you how money actually works by tapping into the largest markets in the entire globe. Now, it's learning simplified, and it's mastering the markets and knowing how to build real wealth and freedom. Now, here's what I know to be true. I do not know what real wealth and freedom looks like for you, but what I do know is you personally deserve it, and you've probably had a desire, but you've never had the right vehicle and the right coaching and mentorship to be able to accomplish that. Now, no matter who you are around the world, because we are teaching people and expanding all the way around the world, but I've discovered no matter what continent an individual is on, they fall in one of these 4 categories. 35% of the population works for themselves, 60% work for someone else, 4% of the population are business owners, and 1% are investors. Now, listen to this statistic. 95% of the population, no matter where they are around the world, find themselves fighting for 5% of the wealth. I'm going to say that again. 95% of the population, no matter where they are around the world, always has and always will fight for 5% of the wealth. Now, the converse of that is 5% of the population, no matter where they are around the world, always has and always will control 95% of the wealth. So you're probably asking yourself, what makes that dynamic so unique and so different? Well, it's not because they're more educated. It's the simple, when I said to you earlier, they are operating and being educated about a different set of information. So which part of the equation would you like or prefer to be involved in? The 5% who's controlling 95% of wealth, or would you want to remain in the 95% of the population and still fighting for 5% of the wealth? Obviously, you want to be in that 5%. So here's what we're talking about. Our story is simple. We help people build better lives. You know, and building better lives entails having financial wherewithal that you can personally leave a legacy and write information that's going to have impact and change your community. That's what this whole movement is about. Be your own bank. And then guess what? Our story is simple. We give meaning and purpose, and this is why so many people seek success. Now think about your own personal situation. If you were in a position and you had the thought and the idea that money was not a concern or an issue, what would you really be doing with the rest of your life? And then my other question to that is, based on what you're currently doing and those dreams that are housed on the inside of you, and the fact that you are in the position or not in the position to fund it, does it bring joy or frustration to you? So we want to help you eliminate that frustration. So that's our story. We believe that real change begins with positive self-talk and thinking, and that finding success starts within. No matter how much or how hard you work, based on what you're currently doing, you're never going to be able to eclipse and surpass those financial goals. As a matter of fact, guess what had just transpired over the last 6 weeks? 22 million people have been completely displaced through no fault of their own. But for this information, for the people that we've been leading and coaching, our lives have not been disrupted because we're doing exactly what the banks have been doing for all of these years. So how would you feel if you had total control over every aspect of your life? And in most instances, people do not have control of their lives because they're not in the driver's seats when it comes to creating and writing their own personal financial narrative. So someone is always determined to control your value and diminish your worth based on what they see. But this skill set puts you in a position where that's no longer the case. We're talking about leveling the playing field. And if you have the desire to learn this skill set, then we're going to put you in a position to take full advantage of things that you now have access to, and we're making it completely aware to you now. So have you heard of the exchange markets? Now, many people have heard of the stock market, which is a small smidget of the entire total markets of what I'm about to share with you. So guess how many zeros are in $1 trillion? If you've never thought or wondered, there are 12 zeros in $1 trillion. Now imagine you personally having access to $6.6 trillion a day, and that's 24 hours a day, 5 days a week. So if you've ever wondered or thought what happens when your financial institution closes, guess what? It's only closed to you, but it's not closed to the world. So this is where the big banks of the world take advantage of the foreign exchange market. And you can actually physically own anything without, you can physically trade this without physically owning anything. So guess what, ladies and gentlemen? We're talking about education and being educated on the right information. Many of us throughout history have been taught that from an investing standpoint, you hold on to something and over a period of time, you hope that it grows in value. But obviously, we know that's not the case because guess what, ladies and gentlemen, for individuals here recently over the last 6 weeks, again, 25 to 30% of their resources have been eliminated and wiped out because they were on the wrong side of the equation. So yes, if you've had a 401k plan, if you had a Roth IRA, I already know what has transpired because you did not have the right set of information. And on the average, it's going to take the individual another 36 months to get back to a point of zero based on what has transpired. Obviously, that's not how the banks operate. The banks make money off of movement, and you're going to get an opportunity to really experience the simplicity of this message and why we call our movement Be Your Own Bank, because that's what you want to do. You want to do exactly what the banks do. So welcome to the foreign exchange market. And then guess what, ladies and gentlemen? There's another market simultaneously growing at such an alarming rate. And by default, you're already involved in it. Once again, I'm just bringing this information to the forefront so that you can now take advantage of it. So what am I talking about? Oprah Winfrey, media mogul. And this is specifically for those of you who like to do research. And I can tell you this, Oprah Winfrey, a media mogul, she's already done the research. September 2019, ladies and gentlemen, had the opportunity to invest $100 million into a platform that's going to allow you to participate in the cryptocurrency market, digital currency, and in particular, Bitcoin. So it's becoming a global payments. Why do I say that? You need some additional research? Well, let me add to the query for you, and we've already dialed it up. We're talking about Starbucks, a global company. Guess what, ladies and gentlemen? Here shortly, Starbucks will allow you the opportunity to go into their stores, purchase their products by you utilizing Bitcoin in particular. You need some additional research. Guess what? Let me add to that. The NBA franchise, the Dallas Mavericks, they have been allowing individuals to purchase tickets and paraphernalia since 2018 to experience and utilize cryptocurrency, Bitcoin in particular, to take advantage of what's happening. And then lastly, the HR 748, the stimulus package, the initial $2 trillion package that just was signed into the law of the land here over the last several weeks. Guess what? The law of the land, the Federal Reserve now is going to have the opportunity to initiate a Fed coin, digital currency through that legislation. So this is now the law of the land. So guess what? You can also trade this without physically owning any money. So if you missed the dot-com era, if you missed the telecom era, but you're now in the financial money era, revolution, guess what? Then you definitely want to be able to participate and understand. So welcome to the digital currency space. So how do you take advantage of this? Let me tell you how you take advantage of this. Our concept is simple. You're going to enroll in the academy. You're going to learn how to utilize the tools. And then we're going to show you strategies that put you in profit. And then we're going to teach you how to maintain your profitability by exposing other people to this amazing information. So it's enroll, learn, profit. Now, our academy, it's a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week online experience. And we find ourselves in a unique transition where everything is now distance learning. So timing is appropriate. So no matter what your time schedule is, constraints, whatever it is, you're going to have access to this information 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And it does not matter how versed you are or not versed you are, because this academy is designed to take you from pre-K, not knowing anything, to postgraduate, that we're going to empower you and equip you and show you how to guide through this process in the shortest time frame to put you in a position of profit, and you now have instant access to become a part of the global economy. Now, not only are we going to teach you through the academy, but we're going to also give you the necessary tools to operate and function just as the big banks of the world do. And one tool in particular that we're going to share with you is a tool called the vibrato. Now, the vibrato is going to give you favorable entry points, exit points, and then in that same tool, those strategies that I made mention of are housed in that. So it literally shortens your learning curve. And one strategy in particular is a strategy called the Byob cash out strategy, which was created by our very own trade whisperer herself, Ms. Tasha M. Dyer. And so what I'm going to have her do right now is allow you to see the simplicity, the value of this tool, the strategy, and how it instantly we're going to put this tool in your hands, and over the next 14 to 30 days, find you in a position where you've learned this skill set, but most importantly, put you in a position of profit. Ms. Dyer, are you there?
Yes, I am. And ladies and gentlemen, what you're looking at is the vibrato. This is a tool that is revolutionary software, is going to allow you to trade like the banks. Now, you're going to be able to do this from your desktop or software, from your desktop or smartphone. But the beauty behind it is you are operating like a bank. So remember in the beginning, I told you that Mr. Rogers, his background was in investment banking, and that you literally are able to work with an individual who has over 20 years experience. Now, that is why he is the spokesperson for this tool. So everyone who is in the company literally logs on and gets to hear from him, okay? Everyone in the company. But what I want to share with you is why you now have the power to be your own bank. So just listen to this clip for just a moment.
Wow, folks, I'm just absolutely amazed to know that I'm a part of an organization looking to empower and impact lives across the globe. I've been in this space for over 20 years, commercial banking, lending, and when I look at the web analyzer in comparison to what the big banks of the world utilize, that web analyzer is equivalent, far exceeds the expectation that I was anticipating after having that experience on the investment market. So folks, for those of you who don't understand the magnitude of what you have your hands on, I encourage you, I challenge you to take a deeper dive and realize that literally you have in your own hands the power to become your own bank and allow us to be your partner, to empower you economically, financially, and leave a true legacy.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, one thing that I do want to share with you before we dive into the strategy is on this very front page where it says no analysis needed, as you're learning, one thing I want to highlight is that we trade with you and not for you. But I also want to highlight that you will have access right here. It says BYOB, be your own bank, because we're sitting on an accuracy rate that is so high, right? We're talking about back tested at 92% and higher. Okay, I have to give you the disclaimer that past profits don't guarantee future success, but at the same time, the accuracy is there. So we don't trade with you, we don't trade for you, we trade with you. But while we're doing that, we actually have resources where we can literally help you along your journey from the very beginning, while you're in the academy, while you're learning, while you're beginning to understand and navigate the strategy to become your own bank. Now, what is the BYOB Cash Out? The BYOB Cash Out is a strategy that I developed. This is what you're looking at, okay? BYOB Cash Out, 3 simple indicators, 3 simple steps that is going to put you in profit. 1, 2, 3. Now, that's what the academy is going to do for you. That is where we're going to walk you. But today, what I want you to focus on is the red and the green. Okay, I want you to focus on the red and the green, because the red is sell and the green is buy. No longer do you have to think about it from the perspective of I buy something and I have to wait for it to rise in value for 10, 20, 30, 40 years from now. I no longer have to operate like that. What I am able to do, and what this strategy allows you to do, is to be able to navigate the market the same way the banks do, because banks make money on movement. So whether the market is selling, you are in profit. If it's buying, you are in profit. What we do is we're able to help you understand that key entry point to where you enter the market, you ride the wave of the market, and you end up in profit. So you can do this day in and day out. Day in and day out, the exact same way the banks do. So here you have it. Whether I'm selling the market or whether I'm buying the market, what you're doing is you're riding the wave of the market the same way banks do. Now, how do you take advantage of that? How do you get started? How do you put yourself in that position of profit utilizing the BYOB Cash Out? Well, I'm glad you asked. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn this call back over to Mr. Rogers so he can share with you exactly how to do that. Mr. Rogers.
Thank you so much, Ms. Dyer, for teaching and showing how powerful those tools are. Ladies and gentlemen, you're going to have the opportunity to glean and learn from the individual who actually created the strategy. The tools are there. And then guess what? So we've shared with you how to get started. You're going to enroll in the academy. Then you're going to learn how to utilize some of the tools. But the last piece of the puzzle that I want to fill in the blank for you is simply this. Knowing that success is really predicated upon how much access you have to the best information. And through the academy, you're going to have all of that. So whatever learning style you have, we're going to avail it to you. Videos, online, at your own leisure. And then you're going to be able to learn from the best. And when I say learn from the best, ladies and gentlemen, I'm simply talking about some amazing business minds. I'm talking about some minds that also are housed and centered in integrity. We're talking about mentorship, and our mastermind team, the BYOB family that you personally will have access to, on top of all the amazing information that's housed in the academy, on top of all the tools, you have experts here to guide and direct you and teach you, such as our very own Pastor Yolanda and Lester Action out of Orlando, Florida. And with our whole mastermind team, we're talking about over 220 years of combined business expertise, financial real estate gurus across the board, and any and everything when it comes to you moving forward, you're going to have access to them. So once again, we have our very own Joy Smith Dale, a real estate executive, have been responsible for nearly over $6 billion in assets out of her entire career, responsible for nearly 24,000 properties under her tutelage. Then you have our very own, who you've already heard from, Miss Tasha M. Dyer, the creator of the BYOB Cash Out strategy. And then also our very own Dr. Craig Bythewood. This gentleman was the first individual to receive his PhD in finance and economics from the University of Florida, African-American male, to be the first person to be able to accomplish that. And at the same time, he was one of 11 African-Americans to be able to accomplish that nearly 26 years ago. So you got the best of the best minds, the best of the best coaching and mentorship. And on top of that, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to have the opportunity through our BYOB system to have access, as was stated earlier. We trade with you and not for you, 40 calls per month that you're going to have access to. So you're going to be able to learn and earn simultaneously, and once again, be coached and mentored by the best. So how do you engage in this process? Well, it's simple and easy. You're going to enroll in the academy. And that enrollment is simply $325. $325 to start your path to your financial freedom and put yourself in a nearly $11 trillion a day industry. And you're going to be able to glean and learn once again, and then to maintain access to the information, to the tools, to the coaching, to the mentorship, the value that you're going to receive, $274 a month. So let's just dissect that for a second. Let's just dissect that. And I tell people all the time, if you're working 40 to 60 hours a week and you find yourself challenged with making that investment into yourself of $325, let's bring that to some context. That simply means that you personally, right now, tonight, are willing to invest in yourself $10.83 a day to put your family on the other side of money. So I know there's no one listening to this information will ever be able to say that their family is not worth them fighting and doing whatever is necessary to put their family on the other side of money for $10.83 for the next 30 days for the rest of their life. And then to have access to this collective consortium, this collective consciousness of expertise to maintain that leverage, $9.16 a day. So we're not going to have that conversation because this is not the person, I know you're not that person that says, you know what, I'm going to walk away from exchanging this information and gleaning this information because $9.16 a day is far more feasible for you to accomplish than to walk away from this valued information. And I know there's no one listening that will ever be able to say that they don't believe that themselves are not worth $9.16 a day, nor their family to put them on the other side of money. And then lastly, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? Be your own bank. What do banks do well? Banks do what other people should be doing, and that's OPM, utilizing OPM money, other people's money. So why do I tell you that? Well, you've learned the skill set now, but guess what? Academy says you have the opportunity also to become an independent business owner. Why would you want to do that? Because we're simply teaching people how to play by the rules of the game. So we're teaching the rules of money and we're teaching the rules of business. And each and every time you help someone enroll into the academy, Academy is going to give you a one-time referral of $50 each and every time you help someone enroll into the academy. They have made the decision to become their own bank. Why would you want to do that? Because people need to know this information. Because the mere fact that they have a relationship with a financial institution and you keep this from them, then shame on you, because I know you want to share this information with you. And then when they maintain access to the information regarding their residual income, Academy says they're going to reward you also. So that reward on a monthly basis is anywhere from $150 up to $500,000 a month for helping as many people who decide that they want to learn how to become their own bank. So we're going to teach you how to do this. We're going to have those conversations with you and show you how to invite people out to this information. Someone like myself will present information on your behalf, and then you get the benefit of allowing us to coach and mentor you. Now, you're probably asking, you probably had in your mind and say, I've done those things before. I don't like those type of things. And I tell people all the time, guess what? Every person on the planet is involved in one of those things. Whatever your thought process of one of those things are. And people say, you know what? Is it one of those pyramid things? And I often say I love pyramids because people are still trying to figure out how in the world they were able to get those big blocks to stay. And it's one of the 7 wonders of the world. So if you want to build your foundation on something that solid, then you probably would want to look at how and figure out what kind of foundation would I like to build on. But let me tell you this. Each and every one of us, we're already involved in those things, because anytime you find yourself adorning yourself with paraphernalia, Nike, Adidas, Michael Kors, whatever the case may be, my question to you tonight is, how many times have those entities sent you a check for helping them gain market share? And you've done it freely and liberally. And all I'm simply suggesting to you is, because this information is so valued and such a value, when you share the information, Academy cuts you in on proceeds for helping them gain market share. And then lastly, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? If you think this is not a legitimate opportunity for you, look at this last slide. Literally, people go to those financial institutions, your financial institutions, they actually get paid to trade your money. So this is why we're teaching this. If the banks are willing to do this, then wouldn't you, shouldn't you, want you, will you, have to, want to, need to do this for yourself? So we've erased any possible excuse that you could possibly make. The only decision tonight is, are you ready to get out of that financial prison that you're in right now. So do not let the investment tonight stop you from releasing yourself and commuting your sentence. That's what we're here for, because you will find yourself in a financial prison if you allow today's dollars to stop you from setting yourself free. So ladies and gentlemen, this is what we're talking about. Be your own bank worldwide, the movement, it's real. Guess what? You have an opportunity right now to do exactly what the banks do with your own money. Let us teach you how to multiply it. And now you're in a position to leave a true financial legacy. So ladies and gentlemen, with that being said, I'm going to turn the call back over to our host, who will be able to give you some additional information on how you can execute immediately, enroll in the academy, and take full advantage of this educational platform and glean from the minds that's going to give you the shortest path to your personal financial success. Love you. God bless. And we'll see you over the top. Ms. Dyer?
Yes, yes, yes. Ladies and gentlemen, the answer is clear. The information that has literally been hidden in plain sight is no longer. So you now have the information, you have the key, you have the answer. So right now, your next step is to get back with the person that invited you out to this call. And you see it, the numbers are there, the figures are there. If that is what they're willing to pay you to learn a skill set, to trade your money for them, imagine what you will actually be able to do with your own money for yourself. So, the writing is clear. The answer is right there for you, ladies and gentlemen. So get back with the person that invited you out, and the testimonies are there. Ask them to add you to the Telegram Messenger, because you'll see it. We're cashing out day in and day out. We're cashing out real people, real stories, real testimonies. So ask them to add you so you can see that. But most importantly, go ahead and get enrolled. You definitely want to get started, because today is your first day. Today is the day that you take that step to say, you know what? I am my own bank. I am ready to be my own bank. So ladies and gentlemen, you're here. And so after that, your journey begins tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. BYOB Market Talks. It begins. We trade with you and not for you, but your education journey begins tonight. What we're doing is we're definitely going to be showing and sharing with you exactly how you can utilize the tools and navigate through the markets. So that is where you want to begin. And then right after that, we also have what's called a Talk with the Finance Doctor with Dr. Craig Bythewood, PhD in Finance and Economics. So he is the right person to help you understand the why behind the what. So you'll have myself at 9 p.m. and then you have Dr. Craig Bythewood at 10 p.m. So ladies and gentlemen, I'm excited. Here you have it. Your journey begins now. Get back with the person that invited you out, because you have officially accepted the challenge to become your own bank. God bless, and this will officially conclude this call.